Breaking news tonight, the coronavirus forcing millions more Americans into virtual lockdown. Over 75 million people in New York, California, Illinois, and Connecticut ordered to stay at home.
All right, we are here at day 3 of Trail Magic. And it's not raining this morning, which is really nice. It's a little cold, but I think it'll warm up.
If we're just 1, 2, 3, and time washes over.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It knocks me down and I can't get up. It knocks me down. Why don't you talk to me? It's not how it's supposed to.
What are you making?
A bed office.
Okay.
Hold on.
It knocks me down. Can't you see what's happening? The world keeps spinning.
All right, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. We are Link and Zelda from St. Louis.
And when did you guys start?
March 2nd.
March 2nd, and we're going by With You Outside is like our social media stuff.
Okay. So what got you guys the idea to hike the trail? How'd that come about?
This one.
Yeah, my original thing was like when vlogs first became a thing. There was vlogs, thanks, yeah. A guy was, vlogging his AT hike, and I was like, that's amazing, what is he doing, And I kind of quickly gave up on it. I was like, that's just too extreme. I'll never take that much time. But then YouTubers like you guys and Homemade Wanderlust and stuff, I was like, man, if these people are out here doing it, we can too. And so one of the things I wanted was closeness with my wife, and so we said, let's go do this together.
Cool.
And he was like, you don't really want to do that. I was like, I mean, I'll do it with you, sure. I want to do it. Like, no, you don't. Like, okay.
So you're 2 weeks in?
Yeah, just
More
over.
than 2?
Yep.
What's been the hardest part?
Having freezing hands.
Yeah.
My hand's gonna like fall off. It's like right here, frozen nerve. Like the nerves are like painful. That's the hardest thing.
For me, I would say like it's more of a mental thing. Like when something bad happens, it's hard. It's easy to really just start to spiral. Like, oh, this has happened, which means it's gonna get worse, which means we're gonna be off trail tomorrow, and it'll be over.
What's been the best part so far?
The people.
Yesterday and today, seeing that the fire tower.
That was a big moment. But yeah, just the
trail
people.
magic.
Yeah, this trail magic has been amazing. But yeah, just the people that we meet. I mean, that's been so cool. I mean, you're going along and talking, and next thing you know, you've gone 5 miles, and it's like, wow. Sometimes a mile feels like 12, and now that 5 miles felt like 1.
Have you guys been online, like seeing about the corona stuff in the real world?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yep.
What's it been like reading that, and how does that affect your plans at all?
We don't know what to do. If we're gonna just like hole up somewhere for 2 weeks and then keep going, or just keep going. Depends on if we have enough supplies, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely is worrisome. All the food that we want to buy up is starting to get bought up by other people, and so the prices are going up, places are closing. So that is scary, but also just like as a Christian, like we want to do the responsible thing. We don't want to contribute to spreading anything. So while we are really isolated, we still do have to go into town now and then. So yeah, it's something we're really talking about, praying about.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Anything else?
We love you guys. You're awesome.
All right.
It was really good to meet you guys.
Yeah.
All I can remember about that last summer, it was a lazy shade of gold. Yeah, the road, your skin on your front seat, but that's looking back on the old. Every town was better than its name.
What's the story behind that song?
She went on her honeymoon, so I helped my friend. I added the chords. She doesn't play guitar, but she writes really good words and melodies, and I help her. We both write together. So I think she wrote the verses. She went on her honeymoon with her husband, road trip to California in their pickup truck and camped the whole way. Stayed in hotels every once in a while in the back of the pickup truck, and then drove back to Missouri. So I wrote like the chorus, I think.
And what's her name?
Erin. Yeah, she loves you guys, so yeah. The band name is Goldberry, but
cool.
It's from Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, you know. Well, I think of my father, how he changed his ages, how the seasons grow colder. He's looking older. These old walls are blue, fragile pieces of you. They will never be the same. I will love you always. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh. I grew tired and I'm thin, weaving clothes I can't fit in. Not a smile but a grin hangs from my chin.
Yes, I'm in Kentucky.
So your husband, he's on trail?
He's on trail. He got that text, and see, I'm a teacher, and they, of course, shut down all the schools. And he's like, there are 3 of them, and he's like, the biggest thing they're worried about was support. Yeah, the hostel's being closed, but that doesn't mean crap to him.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, the support. So I would be more than happy if he actually stayed on, and I would make the 5-hour drive home if need be. I don't know. His texts last night were all just sucks.
Oh, that's too bad.
He-
So is he supposed to be here soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. This is where you need to pick me up. I'm like, okay. Yeah, he section hiked about 400 miles of it. And
So you think he should stay on, or you think he should come home?
it's up to him. It kills me that he would get off because of this. So we're trying to figure out what to do. I mean, it's not like he's worked for the same company for 25 years. They're giving him the 6 months off and they're keeping him on insurance. They would do it next year too. Or, if he gets on when all this stuff dies down, if he wants to get back on trail, I'm fine with that. This is the bucket list. He doesn't have a bucket list. This is the bucket list.
Memory is doing the dishes here. What?
All those. There was like noodles caked at the bottom of these.
Yeah, those are some hard ones. And our cooler, or our fridge, is like a lot empty. So we've been doing good. And you can see we're just getting ready for tomorrow's setup. This is all the stuff we're taking back to the trail tomorrow. Trying to keep stuff organized. We got a coffee bin, spices, paper goods, more like plastic bags and trash bags. And this is all like baking goods. And we're doing a special treat tomorrow. We're doing s'mores.
That's because Dad got the idea because those people got.
I know.
I wanted to do s'mores every night, and I asked you guys. I wanted to be in charge of it, but I couldn't because I didn't know how.
Yeah, well, maybe next year if you learn how to get in charge of that kind of stuff. All right, Cammie, let's go talk to our friends out here. Go for it.
This last couple weeks have been tough for me because I like keeping up on news somewhat with this coronavirus stuff. It's been this weird cyclical thing where I was kind of anxious about it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get on the internet and figure out what everyone's talking about. It's almost like I wanted to feed my anxiousness, but then I realized after a week of doing that, like several times a day, I just felt more anxious. And I realized I didn't really like that feeling, and I knew that I had a lot of control over that, and that if I got off of the internet with with the news of all that stuff, then my anxiety would go down. And I didn't get on there yesterday or today, and I'm already noticing a lot less anxiety. I'm like, I know it's a thing, and I know it's real and all this, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, what are they saying now? What should we be doing now? Is it the end of the world? Blah, 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 blah. It's difficult because when you're anxious, you think that these things, it's like your anxiousness is telling you, well, you better do this to make yourself better somehow. But it really doesn't make me feel better at all. It doesn't make it better.
Or it doesn't change your actions at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing practically that's being told online is
things closing.
Wash your hands, stay home.
Hands,
that's it. It's like a million versions of that.
And it really hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is more things are closing down every day.
So I think people might say, oh, well, you need to take this seriously, and the way you take it seriously is by keeping up to date. I guess the question I wonder is like, how much is it actually going to change your actions? Because if it's not going to change your actions, I mean, you could read the news for 5 hours a day, but I guess I'm just wondering like if there's better things we could be doing with our time. It's weird being out here on the trail because it reminds me of a story. When we got through the Smokies, there was these like threads going on about us on Reddit, and it's some of the most like hateful, difficult things,
dehumanizing,
that we'd ever read about ourselves 2 years ago when we were hiking. And this one night in particular, I remember reading all these things these people were saying. I don't know why I felt like I needed to know. Maybe I felt like I could do something about it. But after like hours caught up in this world, I was super depressed. And it was the closest we ever came to considering like quitting the trail over like stuff people were talking about online. It wasn't even like in our life. Mm-hmm. And I think it was that night that I realized I couldn't handle, and it wasn't helpful for me to read what was happening online. Mm-hmm. And the second we did that, I remember we came into Hot Springs the next day, and everyone in the trail community was like really kind and appreciative to us. Someone bought our meal that night. People were being super generous and helpful, and we had friends that we had met on trail already. And there was just such a difference between like what was happening in my real life versus what was happening on the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
And if I didn't cut off the World Wide Web, I couldn't tell the difference.
And I think it's important to take care of your mental health as much as it's important to take care of your physical health. And if something's like really stressing you out and making you like unhappy, then maybe you should consider cutting that out. At least cutting it way down.
So it's so weird, like coming and hanging out with hikers the last 3 days. It's just the most happy bunch in the world. And there's like, they come off the trail, they see us, there's like smiling, people are talking about, hills and difficulty. And then like there's been this one guy that keeps on coming from in town. Like he comes in his car, and the other day he was wearing these like bright orange gloves. He looks like a fucking like hazmat guy. He's like, guys, I don't mean to bring bad news. And then he goes on to talk for like 20 minutes about the exact same thing that's happening on the news.
Because I think he's telling himself he's helping people by telling these stories from Spain. But
it's so weird.
Like, this is not helpful.
And there's such this contrast between, like on the trail out here, there's this like real life happening. You're walking, and there's trees and dirt, and there's a few other people, and you need food, and you need to take a dump every once in a while. And they don't have access to most of the information that we have, and they're just not freaking out. It's so fascinating watching people try to make decisions about staying on trail. It's like the second they go online, they get bombarded with all this other information that feels like it changes everything. But for a lot of people that don't know about it, it actually changes nothing. I don't know what to think about it.
It's confusing because this is a real problem our world is having, but it's confusing to know how to handle it mentally and emotionally. I think the physical, it's like, okay, stay home, wash your hands. That's simple. But the mental and emotional toll that it can have on you if you're not careful. And I'm not even saying the virus, it's the people talking about the virus that can have a huge emotional or mental toll on you.
I'm just wondering, like, if we go back into the real world, or when we do in 2 days, how I want to spend my time. Is it like keeping up on the world news, or is it doing something like proactively? If you were just to ask me, like, hey, let's say you have a week of free time, what would you want to accomplish? Like, I could finish my book in a week. I could write letters to people that I care about. I mean, I guess it's a little bit limiting.
The post office is open.
I could hang out with my kids, you know? All right. It was a really good day. I feel like we had like 50 people. I don't know. I lost track.
Come through.
Yeah, throughout the day.
Not at the same time.
No more than 4 people. It's been awesome being here on the Appalachian Trail. Check out this view we have. Look at that.
Hi, Rainier.
Tomorrow is the last day of Trail Magic. Last minute, we added day 4. Well, it was a couple weeks ago, before the whole virus thing. Because we figured we're all the way out here, so might as well do an extra day.
Mm-hmm. Hi.
So, all right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We are Link and Zelda from St. Louis.
All I can remember about that last summer is it was a lazy shade of gold. The air, the road, your skin and your front seat. But
I eat my chocolate, so it's not something else.
We're gonna have some ice cream.
Ice cream!
Yeah. Oh, thank you. For 5 months, our family walked 13 miles every day.
We became the largest family to complete the Appalachian Trail.
We encountered snowstorms, overflowing rivers, rattlesnakes, and the government threatening to take away our kids.
And that was the easy part.
2,000 miles together, the story of the largest family to hike the Appalachian Trail is available on Amazon and all major online retailers.